Small lead so far. And of course, if you're new to politics, you know that, of course, you don't have to win all the votes. You just got to win the Electoral College. And we don't have enough hours to explain how the electoral college works, unless you could summarize it.
First, I'd have to learn, and then I'd have to explain it. So we definitely don't have time for that.
I guess the gist is that not all states are equally represented. So there's some states that have a massive population but only have a couple of seats in the Electoral College. I don't know if they're called seats or not. Whereas there's other states that have a very low population, but they're severely outnumbered to the amount of seats or sway they have in the college. So that's why they talk about these swing states, like, Florida. What's another one?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, Connecticut, where there's a lot of electoral votes up for grabs, and those are, of course, where Trump and Biden have been spending their time over the last few days really pushing and trying to get some of those states that are just on the edge, just to tip, just a little bit.
So there have been a couple of announcements already. I'm not sure. I know we were running around.
We were up to. If you're joining us, thank you, because you had to endure a 15-minute delay. That was technical difficulties, but we're here now. What did we miss?
Well, by technical difficulties, it means we're two of the most disorganized men in Canada.
Yeah,
doing a
live
live show on a beta platform. So welcome. But Trump did take a couple of states, and so did Biden.
Ooh.
I've just got to get it up here and have a gander at it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not. Been too many things I've been scrambling to do here all at once. So sorry.
That's all good.
Everybody.
Yeah. I was hoping to get I'm gonna bring when you're done looking for that, I'm gonna bring up how it went in 2016, because I think that's what everybody's wondering about. They're like, what changes are gonna happen? What states that were red are gonna flip to blue? Maybe some blue states will go the other way. What's gonna be the difference? Because we know that Trump's win in 2016 was very, very marginal with regards to the percentage he won by. So they're, of course, calling for a Democratic win, but that's going to really depend on those swing states coming in.
Yeah, Trump has won Louisiana, Nebraska, as you can see there on our right. I think it's your right as well.
Yeah.
So he's won Louisiana, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. And I know earlier I saw that he also won South Carolina.
And those were all, we assumed that those would go Republican, as they've been kind of Republican strongholds for a long time.
He's also won Indiana.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
too bad. I was rooting for Indiana. I mean, It's not too bad. It's good for Trump.
I suppose so. So,
Yeah.
Yep, Indiana.
I think the other thing, too, is that, we have to, like, right away, we have to know that we might not get a result tonight. And I think we're all hoping that, it's clear that one side wins it outright or by enough of a margin that the uncalculated and uncounted votes don't necessarily weigh in. But it's not, we know politics and polls. I don't even know why they do polls anymore, honestly. When's the last time a poll was right?
I think exit polls are a good idea. That's when you voted and you're leaving, and they're going, "Hey, who'd you vote for?" And you actually tell them. That's an exit poll. Sure. I think that's immediately verifiable. So I think that of all polls, I think that's probably the best kind.
Okay.
When you're calling around and saying, who are you going to vote for? I think there are a lot of people who are going to be embarrassed to say they're going to vote for Trump. So They're going to go, well, I can tell by your polite voice, whoever the person calling is, that you're probably going to swing left. So I'm going to say Biden. And then they're all, oh, Biden, great, thank you. You have yourself a nice day. And then they go and they vote for Trump.
Interesting.
And I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
Yeah.
Florida's pretty close. It's 51 to 47. Actually, 51 to 49. 51 for Trump, sorry. Just to be clear. 51 for Trump, 47 for Biden.
Okay.
So it's pretty close, and Florida is obviously a really deciding state. Everyone's very aware of that. I don't need to say it. But that's going to be what most people are watching. Florida and Pennsylvania. Looks like New York is done, and that is gone to Biden.
Shocking.
Don't know if they're going to be able to wait and find out fully California and Washington tonight, the West Coast. So
Right.
we'll see how that happens. We're probably not going to be up all night. Let's face facts.
We got jobs to do. I mean, believe it or not, this is not our full-time job.
I mean, hey, we were doing our full-time jobs till 5:30 this evening.
We clearly hustled it back to do this. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we'll try and, if there's a clear direction that things are going, then, we might wrap it up early. But I think we're committed to be here till 10 for as many of those who are interested to stick around that long. Go grab a sandwich, come back, we'll still be talking.
Electoral college votes, Biden is at 119, Trump is at 92.
Okay.
But there is every possibility for a surge any moment, so I wouldn't really hedge any bets.
Do you remember, of course...
I'll wait till you say it.
2016.
That was 4 years ago. Yes, I remember.
I think we were all watching, and it just became this slow roll. The Democrats had a lead, and then slowly it got picked away, and I think it was about 10:45 or 11 o'clock where it swung. It ticked to the Republicans.
I remember that was an interesting year. We were doing our podcast regularly at the time.
Right.
Try to hunt us down now. Good luck.
That's right.
We were doing our CaNews Podcast regularly at the time. At first, we had to have our arguments for several months over Clinton or Sanders, which I had called for Sanders for sure. Mm-hmm. And you knew there would be some sort of conspiracy and end up going to Hillary through dubious means, by the way. And then you actually said that Trump was going to win the election. Do you remember that?
I do. Now that you say it again.
Yes.
I don't. But I mean, I'm good for me.
You were sure that it should be Hillary, but ultimately you I don't know if you were half joking, but it was basically, what's going to happen, we're all going to be shocked and it's going to be Trump. And you were right.
Don't you owe me money for that? Did we bet on that? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Sounds about right, yeah.
So we've got, it's too bad we can't get this, our map up a little closer. Can we make that one bigger? If we lean in.
This map here?
No, this one here. I just want to compare, because what I've got in front of me, the viewer can't see, is the 2016 results.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just hoping
Do you need to know what states are which?
Well, yeah, I just can't, I could guess.
Okay.
I could just describe them. So the little dangly thing.
That's Florida.
Okay, good. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we know that's red.
The other little dangly thing in the middle is Texas.
Yeah. Now there's some that are still shaded out. So I'm guessing that they're leaning red, but the polls haven't closed. Is that what that shaded means? We've got Florida that's shaded.
They're leaning that way. Yes.
Yeah. And Nebraska. Yeah, so at this point, there's not, everything's kind of falling out the way it did in 2016. We've got Texas, which is leaning blue at the moment. That would be a big take for Biden.
I would be shocked if Texas came to blue. That would be a great win. I think in terms of the Electoral College, Texas is huge.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're not very good at this, so I'm struggling to remember the numbers, but I think it's actually in the 30s.
Really?
How many Electoral College votes that would get them. So if that went blue, that would be pretty shocking.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of stores who are boarding up their windows tonight and planning for the worst. And I don't know if that's which side that's for. What's your thoughts on that? I overheard a conversation at work today that
Trump wasn't
in agreement with. So yeah. I'm curious what your perspective. I actually hadn't thought of it the other way. So I'm curious your perspective on why would you board up your store windows tonight? Who are you expecting to win?
Oh, I see. Well,
case?
I think my take on that is during the first debate, Trump, said that that if you are a Republican supporter and a supporter of him, you should mind the polls and make sure that there's no irregularities at the polls. So he was calling on his supporters to be at polling stations. Now, who is going to incite violence? If that's the question, I don't know. I mean, honestly, there's idiots on every side. There's not good people on both sides. There's definitely idiots on both sides. So it's hard to know. But
we here in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Yeah.
We had a riot when our team lost a hockey game that made international news.
Who are we to talk?
So, the nice party, the leftists, could very well trash the place, basically.
And we've done that twice, for the record.
Really?
Yeah, when the Canucks won the first. Oh no, we didn't riot that time. We riot. Yeah,
We celebrated in 92.
we celebrated. That's right. Yeah,
We trashed the place in
Yeah.
20 whatever that was.
13
I
or
don't
something
even
like
know.
that.
13?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Oh, I thought that was too recent.
Yeah, no, I was just 30, I think. when
Biden
that
is now 122 electoral votes,
happened. Okay.
and Trump is 92. I don't know the frequency of those are going to refresh, so I'll just keep going back to those in a little bit.
We've got Kansas and potentially Montana that are leaning blue, and that would be a change from last year.
Have you seen the quick Vine of the lady who is learning English, and she points to, this is what I hate about English. She points to Kansas and goes, this is Kansas. And then she points to Arkansas and says,
Yeah.
why is this not Arkansas?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't. When we finally get rid of English, it'll be well
At least
timed.
get the metric system,
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, have you been following? I come and I watch YouTube with the news after work and kind of get caught up and see what's going on. Have you been keeping up at all? We don't talk like we used to, so I'm not sure where you're at.
No, yeah, I definitely, I listen to the news. I try and follow politics wherever I can, and follow the zeitgeist of breaking stories, if that's a thing.
Oh, great.
Okay. But yeah, no, I'm still involved in the news. Yeah, as much. I mean, we should do this again. This is fun. 20 minutes into it.
I mean, hey, there's nothing like a window between you to make things exciting.
I'm gonna leave this at Jeff's place, and we can just But yeah, no, what about you? You're still keeping up?
As I introduced that piece with.
I listen.
I have been keeping up regularly. I am, like most people, I'm curious how everyone else is feeling. Vancouver rioted in 1994 and 2011. Thank you, Russ.
Thank you.
I trust Russ is right. He's not my biggest go-to sports reference, or resource rather, but I trust him for sure.
Heck of a highlight player, though.
Heck of a highlight player.
Watch that guy whip the ball.
And man, you get that guy in D&D. He wins every time.
Mm-hmm.
He's always winning the D&D. Trump fatigue. I have got Trump fatigue. I found him as a novelty for quite a while. I think it's quite humorous that he was voted in. When Schwarzenegger was voted governor of California, it was like, let's see what he does. And for the most part, he did okay. There are some stories about some decisions he made that were a bit personal. When they get money and they make their own decisions rather than working for the people. It still happened. I mean, he's human. He's still in politics.
Yeah.
Trump was a novelty for a while. When he won, I was like, all right, let's just play this out and see what happens. I didn't really think it would last the entire 4 years. No. I really thought he'd get something. I really thought when Putin gave him the ball, where was that? I can't remember where that was. But when he said that he apologized and he said it wasn't him, the end, I was like, oh, there's no way they're going to let him get away with this. That was like low.
You're just top of the toboggan hill.
Yeah, that was just the tip of the iceberg at that point. What did I know at that point? But yeah, I've got Trump fatigue for sure. So sick of his face, sick of his voice, sick of pretty much everything.
I mean, he is the Bodie McBoatface of allowing.
Don't you dare compare Trump to Bodie McBoatface. I love Bodie McBoatface.
But well,
how poorly it could have gone much worse. And what did we choose? Bodie McBoatface. It could have been, butt licking good. The boat.
That's right. Yeah.
But it turned out to be Bodie McBoatface.
And the worst.
Not too bad, Canada.
Yeah.
That was Canada, right?
I thought it was it was our icebreaker.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, we did that story. Anyway, yeah, I hear you, man. I got fatigue of the Trump too. So
Putin gave Trump a ball in 2018, but where was it? If you're our research analyst here, Russ, thanks. I think it's something like, it sounds like Helsinki, but I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
Russ will get it for us.
But you started by saying you were wondering which side was going to. I'm going back one tangent there. Which side might instigate, might get upset?
Oh, yeah, right. That's why this whole thing started 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So, you're boarding up your store window. Trump reciprocates with just the shaft of a ball? I think you're connecting two things that
our research is our research team.
Research's heads in the gutter. You're boarding up your windows. You're preparing for the worst. You're preparing for a riot. Is that because you think? Are you a Democrat thinking Trump will win and there will be a riot in the streets of celebration, or you're thinking that you are a Republican, and if Biden you plan on, like, I don't know what's happening.
Gun sales were the highest in the last week. What did they say? 8 out of the 10 best gun sale peaks have been in this year.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I don't know the answer to your question, but
well, when COVID came, the only stores that were making crowds and lineups were gun stores.
Okay, and Walmart because they sell everything.
Yes. Yeah. So there were jokes about people or comments on podcasts and stuff I was listening to, people driving around, and they'd see all the stores are closed up, no one's around except a big crowd over there, and they go, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny if that's a gun store?" Gun store.
Wouldn't that be funny if our joke was reality?
But wah, wah. Biden has won D.C., the District of Columbia, so that's the heart of where everything takes place in the states. So exciting.
If you don't win D.C., are you allowed to stay in the White House, or do you have to stay at a different? Maybe that's why Trump stays at Mar-a-Lago.
No, D.C. is just the district. It's not a state. It's a district.
But isn't that where the White House is in D.C.?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's in
I guess so.
Yeah,
it's odd that I actually don't know the answer to that question.
I'm fairly certain. Yeah.
No, you can not win the.
I'm being.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No. It's like if Trudeau didn't win Ontario.
I fell for your joke. Then.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see, and that of course is. I'm just checking my map.
Of course, it's in D.C., you idiot.
Washington. DC.
I put it into Google, and Google said, "Of course it's in D.C., you idiot." What the hell, Google?
Yeah, just try and find it on a map. Good luck.
Biden's definitely got New York, as I mentioned earlier, and New Mexico as well. So right above Texas to the left there is has gone to Biden, so gone blue. Still waiting for Texas.
So I think the hard-hitting questions that people want to know are...
Who are you people, and why am I on your feed?
Pretty much, yeah. Because you want a well-balanced selection of critiques on the election. That's why you joined us here. You've got to have a little of everything. You've got to have well-informed all the way down to us. So,
are we the bottom of that barrel?
Well, I think of pundits, I wouldn't call myself a well-informed pundit. I'd call an armchair pundit.
I call myself a casual observer with stuff to say.
There you go. Yeah, and that's why we're on the internet.
Russ says it was in Helsinki, and I don't know if I believe him.
Okay.
Yeah, but also Biden has now 131 electoral votes to Trump's 92.
That is. I don't want to say that is more or like in any way positive. I'm just going to say that is a larger number.
It is a larger number. It's also it's only 6:40 p.m. on the West. So there's like 6 hours to go.
Now, I think it's safe to say, though, as we move east to west, that, I mean, generally, East Coast tends to be more Republican heavy, and West Coast tends to go to the Democrats.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think Northeast is Democratic, like you get on your map on your computer over there.
Yeah.
Even on the one that's existing over here. On the right there is definitely Democratic, and it is the Bible Belt that is typically red. So that's why I'm eager to find out what Texas ends up doing. That could be sweeping changes to any of the surrounding areas, which would be great.
What are your predictions tonight? I don't know that we've kind of laid down a hard fast. We've got some numbers in front of us, so it's not totally impartial. But
what are my predictions for tomorrow?
Yeah, what do you think? Well, maybe by like 10 p.m. Where do you see the numbers today?
I think Biden's going to win, but Trump is going to disrupt things to a degree that is not going to change it, but it's going to be so disruptive that it's still going to be the top news cycle in Trump, nonstop. He's going to make a big huff and a big puff because he has to keep himself on top of things, but also distracted in his role, and he has to find new opportunities. As soon as he's not president anymore, he's going to be liable for an awful lot of things.
Yeah, that's right. He's got like
there's hundreds of millions of dollars that he's owing, and he's all the action lawsuits, not class action, all the lawsuits that are riled against him are going. He's not going to have the protection of his position any longer. Deutsche Bank is also looking to break away from them. They somehow somebody in their office forever ago at Deutsche Bank pushed through some loans forever ago for Trump, I believe connected to Russian real estate investments, and it shouldn't have happened. So they're trying to break away from him, but they can't possibly wipe their hands of him. So he's going to be under the gun for who knows, billions of dollars.
I think he'll be okay. I mean, he's gonna, when eventually he's done his presidency, whether it's today or rather in January or 4 years from now, he's going to transition right into his media company. That's all set up. I mean, he's the next, Lou Dobbs or,
you think he's gonna do a Santorum? He's going to be a commentator and...
I think he's going to have his own, what's the other guy? Not Lou Dobbs, but the other Republican...
Sean Hannity?
No, he's an older fellow. Anyway, it'll come. But I think he's going to anchor his own media company. That's what I think. He's kind of Trump TV, and based on the amount of people he has following him, I think he'll do okay. I think that's going to break it. There's already a new news network, right of Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah. America One, is that what's called?
OAN.
America what? And
OAN.
Oh, okay. What's that?
What's America One?
I thought that's
we don't know what the other.
I thought that's what the news network's called, America One.
I know of OAN, which is the one that Trump is kind of leaning even more towards.
What's that stand
for? One another network. I have no idea.
Okay, well we're probably dancing around. But
okay, so maybe it's the same one. It's the one where there's this one lady who's on all the time. She's younger. She looks like she's in her 30s. And she's always at the press conferences now.
Okay.
And she's always the one throwing out the either softball questions or complimenting him.
Okay.
And throwing out those conspiracy theories and doubling down on his commentary of the China virus and using all the phrases that he uses.
Right.
So if that's who you're thinking of, then it's the same one. And I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, I think you're right. It would be terrible if he did, because I think he's a master marketer. I think he's terribly genius at marketing, and look at what he's gotten away with that shows you how good we all are. When he does something bad and we go, hey, that's bad, and he goes, no, it's not, and we go, oh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was.
Wait a second.
And we spend all of our time talking about it until he does the next bad thing.
Yeah.
And we go, wait, I know that's bad, and he goes, no, it isn't, and we go, am I wrong about that too? And then we go and here we are 4 years later.
Yeah.
He just keeps buying time and buying time and buying time. When he says the vaccine's going to come, we all go, perfect. And then eventually someone goes, hey, wait a minute, where's that vaccine? And then it takes weeks for everyone else to go, hey, yeah, where's that vaccine? And then he says, it's going to go away, the COVID's going to go away. And everyone says, okay, let's wait for that. It never goes away. He says, I'm going to release my tax returns. We go, okay, good. He never does it. And then eventually someone goes, hey, what about those tax returns? He goes, oh, I'll do it. And they go, okay, good. And then just... right?
He's a salesman.
It's you can't 4 years later.
You can't fault him for that. I mean, he's charismatic. There's a reason why he's there.
Charismatic?
He's charismatic.
Charisma is, charisma. He does not have charisma.
He might not find that little knob on you, but that came out wrong.
He's welcome to try.
But
that's all he's gonna find. It's a little knob.
But he has a way with people. He's definitely very confident. He kind of presents himself as this that he knows everything. He says,
but he's doing it in a bullish way. He's a bully. He's not charismatic.
A lot of people but a lot of people like that look. They like somebody who just does what they are going to do and says whatever's on their mind.
But it goes back to what I just said. We just don't know how to work with someone like that. We don't know how to do that. He was John Oliver showed a clip on Sunday of a bunch of nurses and doctors around, and this is from, I'm going to say, June, May kind of time.
Okay.
They were talking about what the impact to the health workers were. And a gentleman on the right who was the director of the nurses union or something like that, and he was saying how many deaths there have been, how the numbers are much worse, and the mood, of course, of everybody is just really down. Is dealing with a lot of death. It's very depressing. And he goes, and Trump just goes, yeah. Hey, hand out these pins, everybody, will you? Like, that is not charisma. That is absolute bonkers.
Well,
I don't even know what to describe that is. If you didn't watch Last Week Tonight this week, I highly recommend hunting it down.
Yeah, it's a good show. Changing gears, 100 million. What's our research fella saying there?
Helsinki. I don't know if that's true. I'll believe you if it does. Southern capital of Finland, the country where I want to be. Is this a song? Oh yeah, and One American News Network. So that's probably what we're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Charisma is compelling attractive. Charisma is defined as compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others.
Oh,
Ooh,
well, I would stand by my.
That puts me in a pickle, then, doesn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, Reese. Thank you, Russ. Thank you, research. 100 million people have cast their votes prior to tonight. That is amazing. If nothing else comes of this election, the fact that a third of the United States got involved before Election Day even happened, I think that's fantastic.
Was that in-person voting?
I think it's a combination of mail-in and what do they call it? They call advanced polls and mail-in polls.
Because I think the mail-in polls are going to be exactly what Trump is going to cause a fuss about. And even the 2000 election wasn't rubber stamped until December.
Right.
So this is how it actually works.
Yes.
They used to actually have the inauguration in March, but because we got faster with the process, they moved it. Not we. So sorry, we're from Canada. When the Americans got faster with the process, they moved it up to January. So that's this is probably 100 plus years ago.
Right.
But it used to be March was when the inauguration took place.
Oh, interesting.
And they've moved it up since. So worst case scenario,
Yeah.
Trump huffs and puffs and they take longer than January for the inauguration. But they do have to check all the ballots, and I think there's going to be a huge issue potentially with the ballots. However, come midnight, come tomorrow, come this Friday, Trump could very well go, okay, fine, whatever, don't worry about it. I got a house all set up for myself in Russia somewhere, and he disappears. We really have no idea what's going to happen. I think
takes the keys to the White House and runs away.
Well, have you seen the fence he's built around the damn thing?
No.
He's built a fence around the White House.
Well, I thought that was just for tonight, just protection tonight.
But they've got like meridian barriers and everything. They had to get the crane up and the street meridian barriers.
Yeah, I think that was for tonight. That was my understanding. Maybe not. It's decorative.
Oh, it's absolutely. It's for Christmas. Yes. It goes red, white, green, red, white, green, red, white, green. They were gonna hang them, but then they were like, "Oh, these are really heavy. What are we gonna do? Let's just put them on the ground." Melania was like, "Beautiful.
Let's kiss." Well, yeah.
Yeah, what? You forgot what we were talking about?
No, I wasn't. I thought that was going to have a more positive uptick. That the 100 million people.
There is
voted.
no. Oh yeah, sorry. That's where we go off on tangents. Yeah, welcome to CaNews.
But you're right. He is going to, and there's lawsuits currently pending, challenges pending at the courts to throw out all of the mail-in ballots. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, there was sorting machines that have been dismantled completely.
Right.
So, letter distribution machines, or whatever they're called, ballot sorting machines. I don't know what's actually happened with those, but I know the post office was completely dismantled when What's-His-Nuts took over. So who knows what's going to happen there. I do agree, but this actually shows how pessimistic we've all become, especially myself. Yes, it's great that 100 million people, 90 to 100 million people voted ahead of time. It's great. Yes. But it shows that people are good and they want to make a change, and they're either passionate about Trump or they are eager to get rid of him. We don't actually know what you're assuming potentially that all of those, majority of those were Democratic votes. Is that correct?
I think that's what they're saying. They're saying that they more are Democratic, yeah.
But they haven't been able to count them until midnight today. So where's that from?
Some states do, some states don't. It depends state to state.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I saw a really interesting, The Explained series on Netflix had a great thing on voter rights, narrated by Leonardo DiCaprio. I watched that last night, and it talks about voter rights, voter suppression, kind of what that all means, because we hear a lot about voter fraud. The reason why a lot of controlled states tend to narrow voting ability, whether it's limiting ballot casting places.
Ballot casting places.
or the amount of boxes. I think it was in a place, one of the counties in Texas. They had one ballot drop box location for a town that was It took you 2 hours to drive side to side, and they put one of these boxes. Republican governor.
You just drive straight. It'll only take you an hour. I don't know why you have to grab your way over there.
That's right. No big deal. So I mean, that stuff has been, that's been going on for a long time. But I guess it was around the. I should know this because I just watched the documentary. But I'm gonna say
Picture
70s.
Leonardo. Picture Leonardo.
Yeah. No. It was.
There. DiCaprio.
No. No, I was going to say Martin Luther King, but no.
I don't think he's on.
I'll have to look it up. But anyway, each administration since the 60s or 50s has revived this Voter Rights Act all the way up until Obama was president, and then the Republican-controlled House at the time didn't renew the bill. So that allowed individual states to take on voter regulations again, and they didn't have to consult with the federal government if they wanted to change how voting went in their district. Because before, there was a lot of suppressions where the federal government said, whoa, time out. If you want to change anything, you got to let us know. We'll clear it, and then you can go ahead. But since that wasn't renewed in 2000 and anyway, 7.
Is that a gerrymandering conversation in terms of how they say split up? Like they go down to the house and they're like, okay, this house is brown and black people, and here this house is white people. So let's put the loop around here and make sure that we get all that.
That's part of it. There's I would just say watch the doc if you're interested in it all. There's tons of things that they use. It's neighborhoods. It's reducing the amount of areas you can vote. It's putting restrictions. So Florida just allowed its former felons to vote, but then they rescinded that, and now it's back and forth.
Well, there's like 120,000 or something like that. People who are incarcerated who have the right to vote,
right?
And they didn't even know about it.
Interesting.
Yes.
What state is that?
All states.
So there's got to be more than that, though, in all states. 120,000 in all states.
Eligible to vote.
Oh, okay. Because I
don't think they're all eligible to vote.
There was that many just in Florida.
I think it's spread across the country. There are 120,000 people who have a status where they are eligible to vote, and we're not aware of it.
So anyway, yeah, I mean that's a big part of I think why people are coming out. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. There's a big part of that. I'll fix that. You vamp.
Here we are with a barrier between us made out of real glass. That means when you knock it, it literally gets knocked over. Biden has won Colorado.
I got it.
Okay, you got it.
I got it.
He has won by 4.9 percentage. Hillary won it by 4.9 percentage points in 2016, and apparently this was expected, so no surprise there. 9 electoral college votes are going to come from that. That was barely 10 minutes ago, so we're going to see those populate into the electoral college pretty quickly.
I'm glad I wore pants.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you're wearing blue underwear.
Oh shoot, can you see those?
I can.
Okay. Okay, we're back in action there.
We're back. All right, so don't knock on the glass. Is that what you're saying?
I think you can.
This isn't actually connected to anything, Pete. You know that?
Well, not now.
Oh, you want me to hold this and you can tighten it?
No, I got it. There we go. Okay, I got it.
This is pretty much how I expected tonight to go, so this is actually right in line with what I wanted.
Christmas. Oh, we're good.
It's hard to fill, multiple hours of live streams.
You know what? I was going to ask you if you could. What sport would Trump and Biden be the best at?
In now or 50 years ago?
Well, just hypothetically.
But in their now bodies or in their 50 years ago
I
bodies?
see what you're saying. 50 years ago. And in their prime. Let's just say in their prime.
In their prime, Trump wouldn't do jack all because of his bone spurs. So he would just whine and bitch about stuff.
Okay.
So I can't even picture him doing anything. Biden, I would see him baseball, I guess, straight up. Not sure what else I could picture him doing.
Okay.
Why? Do you think they're sporty?
Well, they actually did have a story about this. Trump played baseball in the Army or the reserves or wherever he went to military school.
Really?
Yeah. Best pitcher. Nobody could pitch as good as he could. And Biden, football. He was a linebacker, I think defensive, maybe tackle. He was in football.
I could see it reversed.
Yeah.
Trump is the football back tackle or whatever you just said.
Yeah.
Back tackle, what's it called?
Well, there's a defensive tackle. I know that's a position, and then
brick tickler.
That's a position. Yeah, definitely.
it's a move.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not too sure. But did you know that Joe Biden had a stutter? So they used to call him Dash because of the stutter. I thought that was interesting.
Yes, he took a long time to overcome his stutter, and he's an inspiration to many. And I think that's great. You can still see it now and again if you listen close, but not when he's saying, "Here's the deal," and listen. I don't like when people say "listen." I find it very confrontational.
Yeah,
am I too sensitive?
No, I think it insinuates that you're
listen.
Not, yeah.
And you're like, whoa, okay, whoa, I thought we were having a friendly conversation here. And they're like, listen, we're going to go in, we're going to get like, whoa, you didn't need to start with a listen. You could have said something more, but I don't even have an example.
No, I get it, yeah.
Puppies. We're going to go in there, we're going to... That's nice.
What if they just come in like this? Just, hey.
I'm not listening. We're going to go in there.
You should just cut them off and be like, I'm listening.
I can't believe they had to actually do that stupid rule with the microphones at the debate.
I suggested that. Yes, I did. And
that was you? Hey, everybody, listen. The reason they cut the microphones off was because of Brad.
It's little things I do for democracy, you know.
Does that not show you how childish all of this is? That they had to literally go, what are we going to do about this guy? He just won't stop talking. And then round and round we go. Like, come on, are we not all adults?
Nope.
Get rid of the guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's preposterous. Let's stop pretending it's normal. How are we going to stop him from talking? Oh, no. Oh, let's put a committee together and talk about it. You know how many days on end people stayed up till 5 a.m. talking about that?
I don't know how it took them that long to decide on the mute button. I had that 30 seconds in.
Because it's so preposterous.
I guess.
They couldn't go, hey, why don't we just mute the mics? And everyone was like, oh, we can't do that. We're grown-ups.
Yeah. I think
that's how silly it is.
When the candidates start calling each other names, they should realize where the level of decorum has sunk to. And
Biden, right. The worst Biden said was "shut up, man."
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We called him a clown.
Come on, he is a clown.
Well, he is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'm not saying he's not wrong, but I don't know. I always maintained that the only way you were going to beat Trump is to play his game, is to just push his buttons so badly and essentially play his game better than he played it. That was going to be the way to throw him off to, you know.
Yeah, if Biden or anybody against him came so prepared and so knowledgeable about not historical facts, but like things he's done, said, contradictions and items that you could whip out of your butt at any given time. Because I've watched live coverage of like this, where the debate's going on, and the commentator, who is way smarter than the two of us combined, is remembering things that happened recently and able to kind of play off that and go, if Joe Biden said this, it would have been absolutely perfect. But of course, I mean, when you're on stage, it's like you're on Jeopardy, so it's hard to kind of pull that stuff out of your butt. But yes, you need to be able to play the same game and throw stuff in their face and have a comeback to everything.
I was going to even suggest, like, don't even worry about the facts. Just go after him. Just go after the fact that he's a poor golfer. Go after the fact that his hair doesn't look right. Like, just, make it, because
But then you've got 2 hours of two 78-year-old men going, you're a bad golfer, you're a jerk, you're stupid, and then that'd be even worse. I'd rather have Trump going off as bullshit, and Biden being, okay, look, here, blah, 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 here's some facts, here's some information, here's what I'm going to do in my term. Trump hasn't said a damn thing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the night, you can tell by reading comments and watching videos and reading articles where everybody lies. You have people saying, oh, Trump kicked Biden's butt. Like, there is no way anyone could possibly see that as the case.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, I think that's kind of what we had in that first debate. I mean, it was Trump interrupting, saying things that weren't true, and it was Biden trying to get his political platform out, but he couldn't get two sentences together because either he'd get interrupted or he'd forget. So that's why I think you just put all of that out the window, and it was a garbage debate anyway. It was just brr, 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 brr. So why not just have a cat fight? I mean that.
I'm not sure if you're being facetious or not, but I disagree.
A little bit. I just say it would have been more entertaining than what we had to watch, which was 2 hours of those two.
I think you got to take the high ground in that case. There has to be one adult in the room, so I'm glad he at least played that role.
Oh yeah, for
sure. I think
sure.
it comes down to the commentators as well. There's certainly a degree to which he was allowed to do that.
Yes.
So I mean, it's pretty clear when that's happening. And you could literally say, listen, if you're going to keep acting, you can say to the president.
What were we going to say? Listen?
If you're, listen. If you're going to keep acting like a child, we're going to have to cut your mic and see what he says. But I bet he's going to say something dumbass, and then the commentator's going to be stuck again and go, well, I didn't expect him to say what a 4-year-old would say, and then you're back to square one.
Well, it was definitely an improvement with the cut mics, Okay, how let's go back to our stakes here. Not our stakes. Okay, so we've got, there's not really much changes happening.
No.
Other than the ones that we've discussed. There's blue leaning through, as I said, Texas, who's that? Arizona. Arizona hasn't dialed in yet.
2016 you're looking at over there, though.
Yep. What's this one?
Huh?
What's this one?
New Mexico, that went by tonight.
That's good. Okay, so that's still, that's going blue.
What's this one?
Well, I didn't want to ask. And then here, no,
they're just looking at the same thing we're looking at here. So Biden leads early, 131-98. That's pretty much how it's been since we started doing this. So
sure.
I expect that to continue. So, what's this one? Fill some time while I figure what this map is.
I was going to suggest a fun game where we take the red states or the blue states and we figure out, like clouds, what they look like. And right now I think it's...
clouds?
Yeah, when you look at, cloud formations, you're like, that one's a dragon. That one's Harry Potter. That one... So,
And you want to do that? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we got to kill time somehow, right? This is 4 hours of this
stuff.
I'll
kill some time. So Wyoming is 71% Trump, 26% Biden. So he's probably going to take Wyoming.
Okay.
Which he did in 2016. 58% North Dakota for Trump, 63-34. Nebraska is actually not too far off from one another, 50-47. Kansas is also pretty close. Oklahoma is Trump 65, Biden 32. Trump's probably going to take that. So the Bible Belt, basically, Trump's probably going to take. So the rest of the country's up for grabs, except for Texas. I'll be curious to see what happens there.
You've got that interactive map, which is really interesting.
It sure is. Oh boy, oh boy! Look at this. Oh wow! Oh boy, oh boy!
What did the little clusters mean? Because there was little looked like brain scrambles there, like some larger. Is that the amount of votes counted, or is that
each ball represents one? Yes.
Or potential seats to be taken?
I don't know. I don't know why they're using little balls.
Okay.
It just looks like a pile of paintballs crumpled together on top of the state. It's really weird.
I guess it must be the number of seats that state has to offer and to give. That's my guess.
Sure.
Well, look at Texas. Texas is a big one. California's a big one. Florida's a big one. And those all those are all big.
Well, what
states.
they're listing here is the percentage of the expected vote to be counted tonight.
Oh,
so
okay.
Texas, for example, has counted 68% of the vote.
Okay.
And it's 50-48.
Okay.
So that means there's 40% more of the expected vote to count. How many they think voted?
Right.
If we think 45% of the entire state voted.
Yeah.
There's 40% remaining, 32% remaining to count.
So that's interesting. So on our McLean's map right now, it's showing that the viewers can see. It's showing Texas as blue. But
shifting blue, yeah. So,
but what you're showing us is actually a Republican lead of 2%. So I guess it just goes to show you that there's no agreement even in the polls, even when they're counting counting the votes. There's still a discrepancy there.
Well, there's also going to be discrepancy between. I mean, this is PBS, and that is
That's McLean's, that one.
McLean's,
Yeah.
Canada. So I mean, way up here in Canada, it takes a while for information to get here.
We're optimistic.
'Cause,
Yeah.
As soon as you hit the border,
Yeah.
it's super cold. So the data actually in the lines just like ooh, it goes super slow. So I don't even know if this is working right now.
This is last year's. This is 2016
This is-
results
yeah,
we're getting
actually,
come in. Yeah.
I'm still booting up my computer. I'm just making all this up.
Well, I'm having a good time. We're 1 hour in. And how many of the votes? We've got 131 to 98 still a long way to go. But it's moving in a blue direction so far, which is promising.
Absolutely.
Jeff, did you know that this year, amongst other records that have been broken this year, betting records, more than $500 million has been bet on the outcome of this election?
I believe it.
Yeah, you believe it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Different prop bets, of course. They're looking for the winner, all those things. But that's a lot of money.
Is there maybe we can even find it? Is there a tally of? Remember when Mr. Burns got shot, for example? There was a tally. You could vote on Chief Wiggum. You could vote on any member of the Simpsons. You could vote. Is there? Trump will concede by midnight. Trump will do this. Biden will do that. Is there different stuff you can bet on?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So there's anything and everything.
Okay.
It's the beauty of Vegas. So if you folks want to place a bet, just I was gonna say wire
Send
us
us
the money.
$50.
How you do that? Yeah.
But do it soon because once it hits that border,
That's right.
we won't get it till probably March.
That's a lot of cash. So we'll see. Of course, the underdog, I think, in the Vegas odds says that it'll be Trump who is the underdog rather. Biden win. So I'm sure a lot of people throwing their dollars behind Trump for some odds. 3-1, 4-1 favorite.
Trump is the underdog. You just said.
I did say that.
Interesting.
Yeah. According to the Vegas line.
Oh, I see.
I don't think by much though. I mean,
See. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry. I thought this was saying what you could bet on, but it was actually just an update. Donald Trump continues to gain ground on Joe Biden on the odds board as more polls close. That's actually an update, but you could bet on, does Donald Trump continue to gain on Joe Biden on the odds board as more polls closed by 8:15? It's actually an update. It makes more sense if you're me reading it, how my brain first saw it.
Yeah.
I thought this was something you could bet on. It's just a fact.
I mean, the only way to really make politics interesting is to either monetize it or alcoholize it. So, start your drinking. I'd say, for every state that goes one way, you should, divide your room. Well, of course, nobody's hanging out with friends, but, you and your partner, somebody go red, somebody go blue. And just when your state turns a color, you get to drink. Maybe a shot would be.
When your state turns a color, you get to drink.
Yeah,
so
when
you
you're
sit there holding a shot for like 6 hours. You're like, come on.
Well, if it's a shot, I mean, yeah.
Oh, you mean if it goes like yellow to light blue to blue? So there's like maybe 4 or 5 chances. Whoa, what just happened there?
I was just gonna say. Okay, big development.
Oh, the Senate. Oh, I see.
So this is so we're watching, of course, 2 things. So that's something we haven't talked about is Senate seats versus the Electoral College. Is that something you want to speak to?
Sorry, say again. What versus what?
Well, like Senate seats. So when you vote in the American election, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't just vote on the president. You're voting on a whole bunch of stuff, right? You're voting for senators or
so much
governors.
easier here.
Yeah. Yeah, here it's just one name, your local rep. There
That
you
one.
go. But down there, I wish we could get a ballot. Are you able to pull up a ballot there? An American ballot?
An American ballot?
Yeah, Trump was saying they're all over. They're in ditches and they're
sure.
just scattered amiss all over the place.
American election ballot.
So our research team suggested that every time you question me, that you should drink. There you go.
Every time I question
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Are you sure about that, Brad?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a thing at all.
Well, we'll have to stick to coffee because this is a 4-hour event. I mean, the excitement around this is nowhere near what the excitement is, I think, around Canadian politics. I mean, I get excited. We get excited.
We do?
About Canadian you and I.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do, but I think there's only like a couple things. Like this is like you got, what the hell is that guy's name in Kentucky? You got Nancy Pelosi, you got Chuck Schumer, and them together.
Yeah.
And what's the guy who talks like Foghorn Leghorn?
Oh, Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
You got Mitch McConnell. You got the governor of Florida. You got Trump. You got his whole damn family. You got the governor of California pushing back on Trump. All that. There's all these players in the states. Whereas Canada, when something happens, it's like very clear, cut and dry. Trudeau did or didn't do this.
Right.
And that's usually what the debate is. But it's not like there's not like a myriad of players.
No, that's true. It's very much it is a drama. It is a
drink.
And that's probably why it's so entertaining. Is there's storylines and there's arcs and this person's stat.
It's funny because it was nothing
It's
until not John Oliver, John
Stewart.
Stewart, made. Sorry, there was someone before John Stewart. I'm struggling to remember his name for the Daily Show. But that really made it a thing, and that took years because no one knew who anybody was.
Yeah.
Even today, Trump goes and does a speech, and he mentions, "Oh, did you see so and so the other day?" And no one in his audience has a clue what he's talking about. Then he goes on a 5-minute rant about them, and we know who he's talking about, but they don't even know who Omar Ilhan. He's talking about her, and you going off on a 10-minute tangent. Everyone's like, they have no idea who he's even talking about. They go by his tone. If he's mad at someone, they go, boo! And if he's happy about the way he says their name, they go, yeah!
It would be really easy. I mean, you could have a few drinks and you could show up to a rally and not be lost. You just gotta, follow everyone. What are you doing? You're clapping? I can clap. Okay. I'm sure it must be exciting to be at one of those rallies. I mean, like whenever you're at a concert or something, all those people together, you're all cheering on the band or whatever. It's exciting.
Whatever you do.
But it is, when we were allowed to go out of the house. So I'm sure there was that fervor, a general excitement, which, must be neat to be a part of. I don't know.
Having a shockingly hard time finding a election ballot.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's one from 2006, but that's not going to help us.
Well, it's close enough for a reference. I don't think they've changed it that much.
Well, I'm sure the names have changed, I would hope.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, voter fraud is voter fraud. I'm just curious to see how many different things you get to vote on. Like, if there's,
no.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. We've still got the same numbers. This is our governors. As you folks can see, the same thing that I'm seeing. We've got the Republicans with 5, the Dems with 2, and what the heck is that? Uncalculated races? That doesn't seem right.
You may be having connectivity problems.
Anyway, that's not as exciting as the main show, what we're all here for. So, I see 94-72. How did you get 131?
Yeah, that's very behind. I am on the pbs.org site.
I'm wondering, is our site updating?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's live. Yeah.
Scrolling through. Oh, they probably went back and showing how it grew, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, that's less than it was before a second ago. But I can always change the feed to something else.
Mitch McConnell.
Oh my God, Lindsey Graham won re-election. Are you kidding me? He is the other Foghorn Leghorn, soft-bellied.
Is he the cuckold?
Round-headed pumpkin, Southern Belle.
Is he the cuckold?
I guess so.
One of them just got outed. Yeah. Not that that's a bad
Graham,
thing.
That guy.
You get into that. Yeah, I think that's the fella.
He was in a close race with a Democrat, and it was going to flip for the longest time. He was uncontested for so long. Damn it. That's too bad that he won. Jamie Harrison, that was the guy's name.
Oh, okay.
55-43, not bad for an outing for Harrison, I would say. Good for him.
Did you hear about the two fellows running in, I'm going to say, it's not Idaho, but Utah maybe? And they ran their campaigns almost jointly. And they had a lot of shared messages and shared promotions together, but it was very much just like, hey, I don't necessarily agree with you, you don't agree with me, but that doesn't mean we have to disrespect each other. And they ran this very supportive and positive campaign in unison. I thought that was great. We should try and...
I saw they did one commercial together, like the Apple PC commercial.
Oh,
type
okay,
thing.
yeah.
I saw that, but I didn't know it was a whole campaign long thing.
Yeah, and apparently it's gone back, beyond this. This wasn't the first time that that's happened either. I don't know if it was the same two candidates, but still, I mean, nice to see things moving in that direction. I'll try and find that in a second.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it'll be interesting to see what happens when one of them wins. If it was all worth it. If next time around, if they'll stick to the positive campaign or not.
It would be nice that was almost mandatory, that they had to work together it's almost like an ongoing debate in a way, and there's a point where when you're having a 2-hour debate, it's easy to go out there and put on a show, but when you're constantly talking with that other person and almost campaigning with them,
right,
that would be exhausting, and you would just need to not necessarily be civil,
yeah,
but at the very least, you'd have to bring your real self out there, and I mean, I'm sure when people don't go home and look in the fridge and rant and rave about whatever the hell they're doing, like they do on stage when they're doing a debate and putting on a show.
I don't know if they were necessarily campaigning at the same places, but they just kind of agreed and did a couple of shared commercials, like, hey, we're not
that's
take
what I'm
each
saying.
other
If that became a thing where you were always together,
I see,
when you are campaigning,
yeah,
then that would make a lot more sense. You get the full crowd, you got a mix of people, which could be hot for disaster, getting all those people together, but you could block them off like at a wedding. Are you with the bride or the groom? Put them on either side, have a barrier like this between them.
Well, I
that
mean,
would take care of it.
Once we're done,
this is clearly a sturdy
a couple of amendments. It's good now. Once we're done COVID, that might be something to do. Is they hold joint rallies, and one candidate goes up first, and then the next, and you have like a mingling of people.
Yeah,
and
then you
both
get
parties come.
Boo at the same time. And
but like you put them all together. I don't know. I think
sure.
that would be great.
Everybody gets the virus that way.
No, I mean, this is after we have a vaccine.
Oh, once we solve the virus.
That's right. Well, according to Trump, that's going to be next week. So
that was going to be in April.
I wonder if he loses, if he's be like, I was going to give you the vaccine. No, you were mean to me. You didn't vote for me. I'm keeping the vaccine. It's all ready. Too bad for you.
Well, if they come up with a vaccine in the next few months, I would caution people to take
right.
vaccines. Just in case you didn't know, vaccines should take minimum of 4 years, to develop and produce.
Well, Russia's was ready in 2017.
Right.
Yeah.
For the virus they didn't know
That's
existed.
right.
Yes. That's incredible foreshadowing. Or foresight, I should say.
I tried to type in positive governor race, and all I got was positive COVID test results.
What?
Yeah.
Craig Kilborn, that's the guy's name, who was before Jon Stewart.
Oh, yes. And then before that, Bill Maher. Well, not on the same show, but Bill Maher did Politically Incorrect. And then
he went... I don't know how I feel about Bill Maher anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, we could talk a long time about that.
I haven't watched him for years. He kind of put me off like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, you should come back. Come back to the fray.
I'll check him out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm open. I just haven't.
Okay.
I only have so much bandwidth, so.
Yeah, that's fair. You can only watch so many shows. The McLaughlin Group. Before that, for anybody who's 50.
Yeah, I watched that because Dana Carvey did the
That's
McLaughlin
right, yeah.
Group on Saturday Night Live. I said, what the hell is this shit? And I saw it on PBS or whatever it was. Like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. There's definitely a long. Have you ever watched the Canadian? I'm spacing on her name, but she was on the Daily Show. She has her own.
Samantha Bee?
Yes, thank you.
She's Canadian. Her husband's Canadian.
Oh, maybe she's not. Yeah.
Her husband was a commentator on there as well. I can't remember his name, but Russell did it in a second.
Yeah.
He's Canadian, and they got married. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I believe they met doing the show.
Yes. Yeah. Have you watched her show?
Samantha Bee?
Yes.
Yes.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit more skit-like sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So you kind of see some of the jokes coming sometimes, but I don't think that's any different than any time any other show cuts to a commentator who is on scene kind of thing. Unless they have a really good gag that's playing out that surprise you, you can kind of see a lot of them coming. So it follows the same track, but she comes from that commentator background. So I'm not surprised at all. I think John Oliver got away from that by truly hosting a one-topic show for a 20-minute segment that changed that dynamic a little bit. Yeah. So I think that's how we got away from that.
Yeah. No, it's quite interesting. I'm watching Seth Meyers as well, and when he does
I love Seth
his
Meyers.
monologues, or what is it, a deeper look?
A closer look.
Yes.
Yeah, me and my kids watch that every day.
Very nice.
Except when he goes on vacation and he's gone for like a week and a half or two, and you're like, where the hell, what am I going to watch while I eat dinner?
Need my fix.
Talk to my kids?
Need my fix. Yeah.
About how much we miss a closer look?
It's okay, they're not streaming this right now. So.
No, they are. They're on.
Yeah. Doing notes for us.
Good research for us. What's going on there, Russ? Samantha Bee became a U.S. citizen in 2014. Does that mean she was Canadian?
Yes, she was Canadian.
Okay, well, you got me there.
I think I guessed that because they on the CBC they had an interview with her, and they were going back to. I think she might have actually started in around the CBC. I'm going to say that until Russ corrects me. Yeah, that is true.
Every time Russ corrects one of us, you have to take a drink too.
Right. So, what do you think?
I'm trying to find a map that I can change this to that's more up to date. I think you may be right. That one seems like it's not really moving at a pace.
Well, it is now. I noticed there's far more red that's filling in. And there's been additions. Yeah, there's additions to the blue. So
really?
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, it's showing the same one that you're on there.
The one on the left, though, the one that says Senate right now.
Oh, that one's slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, not much new in the
Texas
sense.
is red.
Texas has gone red. So that's big. That's going to be big for Trump. A lot of seats there. We noticed that Colorado and New Mexico, of course, they were blue states before. But Utah and Arizona, for some reason, I would be very surprised if they went to the Dems. But they are showing blue at the moment.
So the one I've got on now is potentially more live than this one. So the top two there, I'm sorry for not knowing the North Dakota, South Dakota. Should know that. Donald Trump has won basically all the way straight down. So South Dakota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, moving on a bit to the right, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, all in, done Trump.
Wow. Like it is staggering the number of states that the Republicans the Republicans have won.
Trump leads by 3 points now in Texas.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's gone red.
It's a tight race. Texas, of course, one of the states we were talking about earlier that was suppressing voter rights by limiting the number of boxes that you could deposit your mail-in ballot into. We'll see how that plays out, if at all, or maybe it's just the writing's in the pudding at this point.
I mean, if you look at the colors of the map and you kind of see where things are headed, it doesn't look great. California is 55 electoral votes, which is high. I was right about Texas. Texas is 38. I said 30-something.
Okay.
So that's still relatively quite high, I should say. The rest are all 6, 5, 3, 9. So 55 from California is really, really high. That's. I'll call California now. It's going to be Democrat. I think that's pretty obvious. But Texas, I'm hedging my bets. It'll be very tight. I'd be very shocked, but I think it would be great to have Texas go blue.
I'm hoping that Trump loses because I'd really like this to be a hashtag, one-term Trump. You've heard of a one-pump Trump?
Yeah.
The one-term Trump?
You ever heard of one-pump penner? Ross is about to type it. Ross's fingers are burning off.
Can't type fast enough.
Trying to type that,
yeah. Also, I hope so that I don't, cry on the internet. I was hoping to save that till I was 50, but
I was stymied in 2016, so I won't be as stymied, but I will still be absolutely floored if he wins again. Because this could go, looking at the electoral votes, 131 to 98.
Right.
This could easily narrow in. You really don't know what Texas is going to do. If he gets 38 off the hop, I mean, what's 98 plus 38? We all know that. It's 136.
It's more than 131.
So if it becomes 131 or even 150, if he gets a couple of these to 136, Trump could bump up by 38 electoral votes in an instant.
And that is the, I was going to say the beauty of the system, but definitely the excitement is that there are, massive swings, hence the term. So yeah, no, that's it's like no limit Texas Hold'em.
And here's something that I just noticed. I can't believe I didn't notice this before. The popular vote, which is what they call, when people actually vote, which I'm surprised they have a name for it. It should just be voting. But the popular vote, which is actual individual people voting for the candidates, Biden has 38 million.
Yeah.
And Trump has 39 million.
Very interesting. Wow.
Actually, Biden is closer to 38, and Trump is almost at 39.
Okay. Now, granted, we haven't even really bridged into the East Coast or West Coast yet, rather, and I expect those numbers to jump the other way, especially when it comes to popular vote, because there's a lot of big cities along the East Coast.
Yes.
But as we said earlier, they don't carry the sway of the Electoral College.
California has the 55, but the other ones, Washington 12, Oregon 7, Idaho 4, Nevada 6. So it's not going to be big jumps.
No.
Even Montana is turning blue here, which was red before in 2016. Only 3 electoral votes. Arizona 11, it's shading blue, which was.
Which one are you? Arizona?
Yeah, it's pink in 2016.
It's pink.
How'd that work?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, and so is Michigan and New Hampshire. We're all pink. Or maybe that's supposed to be purple. They tied. Aw.
How do you tie out of millions of votes?
I don't know. Maybe it's an interactive map.
Samantha Bee was born in Toronto. Russ recommends I look that up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to trust his knowledge. I'm not going to correct him because I don't want everyone to have to drink too much. Just got to stop the old dog here from
you bet.
licking himself and making those noises.
I'll vamp about some stuff. I mean, I think again, like we're all hoping for a very positive outcome. It'll be interesting to see whoever wins. I doubt if Trump wins that there'll be any mention of the Electoral College, but that has seemed to hurt the Democrats in the last series of elections more than it has helped them. Why they haven't tried to change that, I guess because it's all about Senate control. If you don't have that, or perhaps it's a Supreme Court issue. I guess you need the ruling of the Supreme Court to make any changes to voting.
The Electoral College system?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about that a little bit ago. Unfortunately, we shouldn't be doing this show at all because we don't actually know the ins and outs of how it works.
But we can speculate. God knows
we
Trump
can certainly
does.
speculate. I think it's clearly a system that was set up to benefit those in power who want to keep that power.
Yes, absolutely.
It's absolutely not in favor of the people by any way, shape, or form. So I think it's pretty clear that that's done. Trump has jumped over 40 million votes. Biden didn't jump at all, so I'm curious how they're updating this on the globeandmail.com, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to follow along live.
Fake news.
I can try to change the maps here, but I think they seem to be updating somewhat. But even that's 98 to 86, so that's really out of date. Right?
Yeah, it definitely seems slow.
We don't have the audio on it, so I'm not sure what's going on with that specifically.
That's fine. We can bring up some CBC here for their take. Mind you, that's more Canadian. We should stick to another American feed. So the National Guard is on alert. As you mentioned, people were boarding up their windows. The National Guard and local law enforcement has been told to stand at the ready. Now, they're reporting on this. Oh, we're going to go ahead and mute that.
I thought the military stated they're not going to be getting involved at all. It was just today that they stated they're not going to be doing anything. They're not going to be any deployment anywhere. That was like literally today.
Okay.
So I think that's something to look up. But
they're not going to deploy. They're just there.
Have said we are not there to fight for one side or the other, because if they're deployed, is it going to be Trump deploying them based on his preference about how he'd like to control tonight,
right?
Or is it based on the president-elect needing protection. I don't think Biden's going to go, hey, everyone go out there and protect the people.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that. He doesn't have the power. He's only president-elect.
No, he doesn't have the breath. Can't get that out. That's a full sentence.
And if they're going to get called out, it's going to be in reaction to Trump's people telling them to go out. So I think that's a bad optics for one thing.
Yeah.
But also that's not their job to go and police the people, and I think it's just going to escalate things even greater to what it's already bad enough.
Well, there's a distinction there. The National Guard is separate than the military. Well, I mean, they are part of this. They are part of the military, but they're two succinct branches. Yeah.
And is their job to go out under the banner of civil obedience, or is it to go and because obviously what's going to happen, for any reason for them to be deployed, is there's going to be a great divide of far right-wing Republicans and far left-wing or activist, I don't know, leftist, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I think the farther left you get, the less likely you are to riot, probably. But they're going to have to go in between them and break that up. But that's just going to cause even more chaos than what was happening in Krakoa, or whatever it's called, a couple of months ago. Like, there's going to be, all the people are already walking around with guns around their bandoliers or whatever, and there's going to be, what do you call it? Say this is military or whatever.
Militia groups.
Militia groups, yeah.
Yeah, my take on it is that they said, let's put this out as a news story so that anybody who's thinking about it, like who's like, maybe I'll cause some stuff tonight, might have a pause, for and reconsider. That was my guess, because I think the fervor is up, people are agitated, people are anxious, so. That was my guess, is that like, let's just tell everybody the National Guard's there, police have got the order to settle things down.
Well, maybe it was the military, because the National Guard are on standby, apparently.
Yeah, I meant to say that. Sorry if I didn't say that.
Oh.
Yeah, the National Guard is on standby. Yeah. We'll just rewind the tape.
What a world.
Yeah. Hey, is a live stream, is this recording?
No, I can record it if I hit this button down here, but I did not.
Oh, okay. Can you start recording it now?
I could.
We've had a couple of requests for people to record. Is that eating up?
Starting now?
I don't know. We could do our intro again.
I suppose.
I mean, people are tuning in and tuning out, right? So if we just started again, I don't know. I mean,
would anyone even notice?
Yeah. Let's do it. See what the comments say. No, I'm just kidding.
We are officially recording
nice.
now.
Okay, welcome everybody. My name's Brad Rossington.
Wi-Fi. I'm Jeff Benner.
We're an hour and a half in to this great event, America Decides 2020. What did you see? Your face went.
I was like, how did he know it's an hour and a half? Where is that? It's an hour and 18 minutes. I can see that now.
Oh, I'm just going by the time, because we started at 6.
We started at 6.
Yes, that's true.
Right on time.
Just a little after. But yeah, no, it's exciting. It's a neck and neck race. I mean, thank God it's not a clean sweep, because we'd be packing it up. Say that's done.
I would love to have that as our story tonight, but no, it looks like Trump now is the popular vote at 41 million and Biden at 39. I'm actually shocked. To your point, we're not at the West Coast yet.
Yep.
You missed it if you're watching this on recording. But Brad correctly pointed out, we've not gotten to the West Coast yet. Here at 7:30 p.m. on the West Coast. And I think we're assuming Washington, Oregon, California. I don't know what Alaska's all about.
Good point. I think Alaska. Yeah, I'm not too sure either.
What did Alaska do last time?
Let's bring it up.
Pause your video on the other computer there and save some Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Oh, is that it's using my Wi-Fi?
It's using your phone?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I'm tethered. Alaska went red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I guess Sarah Palin. I don't know why that's my argument. Sarah Palin, therefore, Republican.
Must have happened. I thought she fell from grace. I don't know if people like her.
Oh, she did. I don't know if she's involved, but I mean I think because it was a strong Republican-held state, that's why.
Gotcha.
That's where she came from.
So the governor race is 21 for Democrats, 25 for Republicans. The House is 83 Democrats to 106 for Republicans, and the Senate races are 43 Democrat, 41 Republican. So that's actually pretty tight.
It is very tight. Jeff, we were wondering why some of the states in 2016 were like shaded differently. We've had some pinks and purples. So that was the degree to which they went in that direction. So a dark red was a strong victory.
Oh, I see.
Medium red
Yes.
was, closer and light. Yeah.
Makes sense. In the terms of tonight, that shading means if it's light blue, it's not yet called.
Yeah.
It's leaning that way.
Leaning.
And then I guess from your map there, if it's 1, I mean, those are all solid blues on the map that we're looking at.
They are.
Brass
We've got
computer over there. It's a really exciting TV.
We've got Minnesota, which came in close, but the rest of them, yeah. I mean, there is a spectrum, but most of them are strong blue for sure. Yeah, in the 2016. We're 3/4 across the country, so a lot of votes being counted, a lot of information is in the system at this point.
Yeah.
A lot still to go, of course, but yeah, I mean
I'm wondering if this that I'm on the Globe and Mail is updating naturally here, and I could post that up. But I've refreshed it a couple times, and not much has come up. So I'm gonna I'll give it a minute and see if it automatically updates, and I'll change this map on here because I think it might be behind. The map on the bottom right corner is updating perfectly fine. However, the one in the center there is kind of wasting all of our time. In fact, let me see if I can swap that over to another one.
While you do that, I'm going to comment on the fact that it's red and blue, and which are the colors respectively. And this election has very much at times been a talk about policing. I think COVID has definitely taken precedent with regards to what is, the main thing people are voting over. I think Biden's been hitting COVID really hard. But policing, as we saw in the first debate, Trump was probing Biden to say, well, where do you stand on police? Where do you support our police? And this. I'm not going to weigh into that because that's a huge boiling pot of water. But I just thought that was worth noting. Well,
you're saying that Trump was calling out Biden on the coronavirus and what his stance on it is?
No, he was calling on police because there was a big with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
And the call for defunding police. There's been a lot of pressure on the candidates to say.
Oh yeah,
whether
that
they
bothered me
police.
because when they brought that up in the debate, Biden didn't come back with saying something along the lines of. What you have to do is you're looking at a redistribution of funds. You're not looking to take all the money away from the police and then toss everybody to the wild. You're looking to redistribute funds so that de-escalation techniques can come from somewhere other than police who are improperly trained. And the fact that he didn't have that in his back pocket ready to go, I was actually surprised by that. That should be an absolute go-to.
He is...
Unless I'm crazy.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. I was so frustrated watching him because, he is a great politician. Sorry, he was a great politician 10 years ago.